Oh, hey YouTube. Didn't see you there. I was too busy experiencing the future. We've all grown accustomed to the ways we interact with each other online. In one form or another, chat rooms and text forums have been around forever. I remember one of my first experiences with the internet was like more than 10 years ago. I was in a chat room on my cousin's computer, one of those old, really basic chat rooms where it was just random people talking to each other. And ever since, I've been pretty fascinated with the internet and interacting with other people. With that being said, chat rooms and comment sections are kind of outdated. I mean, they've been around for a long time and they're pretty old-fashioned. Pretty soon, with rapidly advancing technology, I think we're going to start to see some pretty major changes in how we interact with other people online and interact with content creators. When YouTube was made back in 2005, it was a pretty revolutionary idea, and it was awesome to have this platform where everyone could share their videos and comment and things like that. And until a few years ago, live streaming wasn't nearly as popular as it is now, which it's only growing and only going to get bigger. So there's always going to be that next big media platform or content creation site or something where there's going to be content from users and interaction from viewers. But the question is, where do we go from here? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how virtual reality and VR opens up a lot of possibilities and a lot of interesting avenues for the future of videos and live streaming. Let's start off with something that's already implemented, but I don't think is fully realized yet, and that is 360-degree videos. These are videos that, when filmed with a special camera or when created in a certain way, you can actually rotate the video and have a full 360-degree field of vision. It's really cool because it makes you feel very immersed in the video and also makes it feel like more than a video. It makes it feel like a virtual space. One of my favorite videos that does this is a really awesome song by Fort Minor called Welcome. In the music video, you can see people up close, you can see the awesome scenery and the band performing. It's really awesome. And again, this is a pretty new thing, and I think it can be explored a lot further, especially if they were to further integrate VR into this thing. And this is also where live streaming comes into play. Imagine that there's a way to record or live stream the world from the perspective of the creator, whether it be a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. So in other words, let's say they're filming in a certain way that allows you to hook up your VR headset, and now you're seeing things directly from their point of view. Obviously, I don't know all the technicalities of this, but let's say they're walking around in a forest or something. Potentially, you could look around, whether it's in a video or in a stream, and see every single thing that they could possibly see if they were to turn their head in that situation, if that makes sense. So that's just one way that viewer immersion can be upgraded and advanced in the future, to where now there's much less of a barrier between you and the content or entertainment that you're watching. You get to experience it more fully in a way that you never have before. And of course, this can be directly related to gaming. And I think this is very close to becoming a reality, which is if someone is streaming a VR game, again, you can experience the game directly from their point of view. So instead of right now when you're watching someone stream VR, you see their camera and then you see the game projected in a 2D space like with any other game. But I think the next step is going to be you get to experience what they see directly from their goggles. That way you're not just watching someone play a game, you're actually living through their experience of the game. Again, it's a whole new level of social interaction that breaks down these barriers of 2D screens and the borders we have set up. And then here's where chat rooms can come into play and comment sections as well, maybe. And of course, this is just a theory or something hypothetical, but I think it could very well be reality, at least in some form. So another way to experience things in a more immersive way is not necessarily seeing things directly from the point of view of the streamer or the video maker or whoever, but also seeing them in a 3D space without your computer. So let me explain a little bit. If you go on Twitch or any live streaming site and watch someone playing a game, the way you interact with the streamer is of course with the Twitch chat, which like I said is kind of outdated, kind of antiquated. It's just a chat room at the end of the day. Well, what if in the near future, instead of being limited by a screen and by a text box, the level of interaction becomes something more comparable to watching a live sporting event, where you and the streamer and all the other viewers are gathered in some sort of virtual space in which you actually watch what's happening in a 3D environment. So take this as a crude example, these NPCs fighting in World of Warcraft or any sort of arena setting, right? In a game like this, you have these spectators gathered around and then you have the two people fighting in the middle. Okay, let's say that there's a game where you're watching someone stream and do some sort of PvP and they're facing someone else. What if there's a way that you can actually be in that virtual area around them and watch what they're doing in real time from that first person perspective as a virtual audience member in that space? And the way you interact with them and other people is by just talking, just voice, just communicating like you would at any sporting event or something. And the implications of this are going to be pretty hilarious because you're going to have people just shouting a bunch of stuff. A whole new level of trolling is going to be spawned from this type of thing. So yeah, there might be some need for some more quality control or something. I don't know. Maybe the moderators will actually be virtual people with their virtual virtual swords, you know, like their avatars in a very 3D way, and then they actually strike someone down who's yelling too much or spamming or something. It would be really interesting, and the interaction would be just miles ahead of what we have now with just text and delayed responses. And while this might sound outlandish, this isn't too far off, I don't think. I got a lot of these ideas from just using the Vive myself and seeing how a lot of games and primitive things that are still pretty new with this kind of technology are kind of comparable to what I was just saying. It's really fascinating stuff, and I know while not everyone has a VR headset right now, and they're pretty expensive.
Everyone here is quite a bit older than your normal gaming audience, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think that's the whole disposable income thing.
Probably.
That's very true.
Probably.
As with any form of new technology, the price will eventually go down, the performance will go up, it will become more readily available. I mean, obviously when the iPhone came out, a lot less people had it because it was a lot more expensive, the performance was much less impressive, it was a lot slower, it was a lot worse, and nowadays everyone has a smartphone that's 10 times more capable than the original iPhone, if not more, and way cheaper by comparison. And Twitch and YouTube are only going to expand to larger audiences. I mean, Twitch started out as just a gameplay streaming site, and then we eventually got different sections like gaming talk shows, creative, social eating, and people are doing more and more innovative things with streams and viewer interaction. Really simple stuff like cams becoming more and more common, and then having things like green screen cams, donation alerts, things like that. My point is, it's only going to grow and increase, and you can kind of see it happening already. And YouTube, I'm sure, is going to have ways of implementing this stuff in its own unique way, as we already saw with some of the 360-degree videos and things like that. My only real concern with these things progressing and advancing as they are is that even as we're seeing today, when there's endless entertainment and interaction and engagement available for viewers and consumers of this kind of media, it can certainly have some consequences. For example, something like VR porn, I think is inevitably going to cause some pretty major problems. In fact, I can make like a whole entire video on just that topic specifically, but ultimately let me frame it like this. Once we get to a point in technology where we are able to experience things at a level that is indistinguishable from reality, that's where things get really scary. So let's say in like 15 years, there's some super advanced VR system that allows you to actually physically feel any experience you want to download off the internet. So there's like a video or something of someone playing on the beach in the sun. Well, if you hook up the proper device, you're able to experience that as if you were there. And thus you could experience reality in the world in so many ways just by sitting at a computer or some sort of futuristic device that allows that. The reason that's kind of scary, of course, is what incentives are people going to have to venture outside of their house and accomplish anything if they can experience all the pleasures of life right from their room. One thing I do like is the idea of augmented reality, which is kind of like Pokemon Go on a very basic level. That is, as you travel through the world, or through your city, or through your local area, wherever it is, certain components of virtual reality are implemented within the real world. So with the Pokemon Go example, that would be, you see these Pokemon from your phone, and obviously it's in a very basic way, but you can see how this can expand further with something like Google Glasses or an idea similar to that. All sorts of information or entertainment can be added on to the world you see around you as a part of augmented reality. So let's say you're walking down the street, you could have some information available to you about the storefronts you walk across without having to look anything up on your phone or any other device. And that's just a very basic example. It can go a lot more advanced or a lot more interesting than that, of course. So that's of course another path that this kind of technology can take. Anyways, I certainly don't want to dwell on negatives or anything because there is so much exciting and interesting stuff coming, and I think for every sort of possible consequence or worst case scenario, there's always going to be a solution or a way to solve it if we use technology responsibly. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go experience the virtual world.
What the fuck are you doing? Is that my dick? What is what is this bitch doing? He's pumping! Ow! Ow! Being raped! Fuck! Oh my god! Oh! I feel violent, dude. I swear my body felt that. Dude, I swear to God. Holy shit.
Hopefully one of those is good enough, dog.